interesting little situation that Donald Trump is in relating to his unbanning of Twitter, or him getting unbanned on Twitter, but also his stake in Truth Social. So of course you'll probably remember he just recently got unbanned from Twitter, but he also was the core person in starting the Truth Social endeavor. And now Truth Social is somewhat of a platform, and a lot of the value in it is the fact that Trump puts out all of his statements there. That's why a lot of people are even on Truth Social. And so while he loves Twitter so much and used to just love tweeting and has way more followers there, it's probably a really bad decision for him to get back on the platform, as Mediaite highlights here, where it could actually lose him a lot of money. Former President Donald Trump has yet to tweet since getting his Twitter account back after a nearly 2-year-long exile. But if he does, he could get sued for millions of dollars. And then it provides an excerpt here from some analysis from Shelby Talcott. Since Trump is a core part of Truth Social's value, rejoining Twitter could create some potential legal complications, according to Eric Talley, a professor at Columbia Law School who specializes in corporate law. In particular, if Trump repeatedly signals in public before merger that he's never joining Twitter, then closes a SPAC deal and reneges, some shareholders could decide they were misled. Quote, if it's going to look later on that he never had the intention of remaining off Twitter, but he just wanted to convince people that they should go ahead and close the SPAC deal, that's kind of a textbook securities fraud lawsuit, Talley said. So that's a tough situation to be in, because he loves Twitter more than anything in the world, and tweeting out to a bunch of liberals who will be mad who aren't on Truth Social, right? But if he does that, he could be misleading in his previous statements of saying, I won't be getting on Twitter, the shareholders in Truth Social. And that could cost him millions of dollars in a lawsuit because of it being securities fraud. And that is so beautiful. I love that that's probably burning him down to death, because I know it is so tempting for him to just go ahead and get back on Twitter. And he could justify it in his head, well, I'm running for president now, so I need to have as much reach as possible and have as many people hear my message as possible. And I'll also still be active on Truth Social. But if this does create a situation where he could be sued, probably not something he would want to do. So again, this is one of those stories that's not that important, but just an interesting dynamic playing out, because I think it actually does play a big role in his presidential campaign, whether or not he's on Twitter. Because so much of both him as president, but then also campaigning, was the media reading tweets that he was putting out. And I think in a way that characterizes him more accurately, because he's so unhinged on those platforms. But whenever the public only sees him in kind of his scripted form, especially if his campaign keeps trying to force him to come off more chill, talk about the election less, which I don't think he'll be able to do. Either way, I think you put him in front of cameras, he'll still come off unhinged. But Twitter is him sitting on the toilet at 3 a.m. and it really ups the ante for what the American public is reading day to day about him. And he just doesn't get that reach on Truth Social. The media doesn't read his statements from Truth Social as often. And so it's just, as weird as this sounds, a big dynamic, a big variable in the next 2 years of him running for president in 2024, which hopefully he will lose either to a GOP challenger, or more likely, hopefully he'll lose, if he does still get the nomination, against the Democrat in the general election. But overall, it'll be curious, or I'm curious myself, and it'll be fascinating to see what he ends up doing with his now reinstated Twitter account. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get access to an extra full show every Saturday that only members can see, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there is a link in the description.